So we're here today with Ben to ask him about his 100-day experience with no sugar, no flour, no ultra-processed foods, and what he has to say about it. But before we do that, I just want everyone to know that the program we followed is a program that's done by a woman named Christy McGammon, and it's called Life Unbinged. She has now been sugar sober for, I believe it's over 7 years. She's lost over 100 pounds. But it's what really makes her program special is she brings the Lord into it. We can't do anything on our own. We need guidance, we need to surrender, and we need support. So with that, let's ask Ben a few questions. So Ben, what are the results so far?
Oh, well, so far between you and me, we've lost, in 100 days, we lost about 44 pounds. Mm-hmm. And I think we both have more energy, and a lot of our clothing has become too large, and some clothes I could never fit into, I can now fit into, and it's really been amazing. Oh, the one thing I do want to say though, before we really get started, is before you do any type of diet plan or change the way you're eating, of course, check with a medical professional first.
Yes, we did that so we could have the before results and the after results. So what surprised you the most about the plan?
I think what surprised me the most was, because I've lost weight before, is the change in body shape. It was basically the way I'm shaped changed more than before when I lost weight, if that makes any sense. It's like our bodies were kind of suffering from inflammation from the ultra-processed foods that we sometimes ate. And, you know, in the first week, we lost like 8 pounds, and you could immediately see changes in the way we were shaped. I'd say that's probably the thing that surprised me the most.
Yeah, it's kind of like our bodies are becoming what they're supposed to be, what they were intended to be.
Yeah.
So what were the hardest parts of the plan thus far?
For me, I would say the hardest parts were the first couple weeks. In the evenings, I was often really hungry, and would have a tea or something to get me through, a decaffeinated tea, herbal tea, to make the evening go by and not have cravings and get something to eat.
Well, and I know it was also hard for you on those few times when your wife was crying because she couldn't have what she wanted. What food surprised you that had added sugar?
Oh, foods that had added sugar. Sorry about that. Foods that had added sugar that I didn't think they should. So you would think like lunch meat, if you go to buy turkey breast, that's just meat. But you gotta watch the labels because some of it has added sugar. We needed usually we make our own beans, but we needed beans for a chili recipe real fast one night. And when we went to the store, we had a hard time buying a can of beans that didn't have added sugar. Costco rotisserie chicken, added sugar. I would think it's just for flavoring, and then some other chemical that's not allowed in Europe. I thought that was kind of interesting. I got a cold during this, and I was surprised that, well, I knew cough drops had added sugar, but immunity, how do you say it?
Oh,
Emergency, that's it, has added sugar as well, and that really surprised me, because you think of something you're taking to make yourself healthy. So you got to read the labels out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you tell someone who wants to try this program?
Well, I think there's some real challenges. I think it helped us because we did it together. I think it would be really hard if your significant other wasn't on board, or at least supportive. And I would imagine there's going to be people out there who have a challenge with, if they have children, that the children likes their Happy Meal from McDonald's, or has a favorite snack that's not necessarily healthy. But that's a whole different thing. I just think that, I mean, think about it. You want your kids to eat healthy too, so it's something to think about.
Well, and plus time management, because it is very time consuming, all the food prep, but it's so worth it.
Oh yeah, so the food prep. My wife Kelly spent hours and hours preparing our food and planning ahead so we don't get caught without our food without food that fits in.
Because we have had to travel quite a bit while doing this. What did you miss the most?
For me, I missed spontaneously going out to eat, and I found that I would go out to eat not just for food, but for the adventure of it, going somewhere and being out and about and getting some food I never had before or something that's really delicious. It was more like an adventure and an activity for me than it really was about getting food. So that was kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, it's surprising to me that probably 95% of our friends want to eat this way too. So now when we go somewhere, when we visit somebody, they always ask me, well, so what are you going to cook for us? Or what are you going to bring? Because they want to try it too. So that's, we've learned that.
Yeah,
We all help each other.
I gotta say our family support and friends supporting us in this lifestyle change has been much bigger than I expected. People have been very supportive.
Yeah, they are. So what did you learn that surprised you?
I didn't realize we actually had a culture in America where you're supposed to eat on healthy foods. I never really thought about it. When you go to visit somebody, say you're invited over for dinner, you don't show up with a bag of carrots or a bag of broccoli. You show up with a bottle of wine or a cake or something that nobody needs, right? Some kind of dessert. And then in social situations too, same thing. You're almost expected to eat foods that are really not foods. They're just poison. And that could be anywhere from a church potluck to, getting together with family for Christmas. It's really interesting when you stop and start thinking about it.
Yeah, and I've learned that we can do hard things.
Yeah, we have learned we definitely can do hard things. Yeah, that is true.
Anything else you want to add?
Well, let's talk about what the program consists of, or what we're eating. And I think that's really key. Is you're going to say, okay, if I cut out foods with added sugar, and I don't eat any flour of any kind, and really try to stay away from ultra-processed foods, well, that just removed about 75-80% of what's in the grocery store as available food. So I think we should talk about what we eat on this.
Well, we eat oatmeal. We eat lots of vegetables, 20 ounces of vegetables a day.
I think that's the core of what we're doing. 20 ounces of vegetables a day. That is so much food that once you add in some protein and
at lunchtime fruit.
At lunchtime and breakfast some fruit, that's a lot to eat. So 3 meals a day, with 20 ounces of vegetables being the core, I would call it. Mm-hmm. And then also, as Kelly mentioned, breakfast, a lot of times we have oatmeal with berries. So like
6 ounces of berries.
6 ounces of berries.
That's a lot of berries.
It's a lot of berries, absolutely. And nuts, we have, how many ounces of nuts in the oatmeal?
An ounce of nuts.
Ounce of nuts. So there's some protein, plus what's protein that's in the oatmeal and the fiber. And yeah. And then the other breakfast we have a lot is Greek yogurt with no sugar added, Greek yogurt, of course. And smashed banana to sweeten it up a little bit. So what's that, like 2 ounces of banana or something that's smashed up?
Yeah.
Or half a banana.
And cinnamon.
And some cinnamon.
And then nuts and dried oats. And fruit. And berries, peaches.
That kind of freaked me out at first, so we just sprinkle in some dried oats into Greek yogurt, but when you stir it in, it's delicious. So that is something I learned on this.
Yeah.
And then lunch again is serving of fruit, which could be berries or an apple or whatever fruit you prefer. And
10 ounces of vegetables.
10 ounces of vegetables and some kind of lean protein. So we've done everything.
And a fat.
Oh yeah, and a fat. We've done everything as far as the protein goes, from eggs to lean meats. Beans, quite a bit, yeah. What else?
When we travel, we like cheese and nuts.
Cheese and nuts, yeah. So this has been one of the things that really helped us was traveling, was having little bags of nuts and cheese in a cooler and raw vegetables that we could just pick up and start eating. And that's something with the 20 ounces of vegetables. Those vegetables can be cooked, they can be raw, and we usually do a combination of the two. And also, Kelly's been really good about picking a wide variety of vegetables, so we're getting all these nutrients from all different sources. I don't think that's really part of the program, but I think it is probably a best practice.
It's fun.
Okay. So what would you mean by fats? We talked about having fats.
Oh, you can have like a half an ounce of peanut butter. You can have salad dressing, mayonnaise, olive oil.
Okay, those things.
Yeah.
And then dinner is same thing, 10 ounces of vegetables.
Usually those are cooked and a salad.
Yeah, something like that.
And meat.
And then some kind of protein, whether it's a lean pork or chicken breast, salmon, whatever your taste is. And for me, I get 6 ounces of protein for lunch and dinner. And then you're usually about 4 ounces. And what else? The 10 ounces of vegetables, protein.
That's pretty much it for dinner.
Okay.
Yeah. And no snacking, 3 meals.
3 meals a day.
Huge amount of food.
And if you look at the Life on Binge thing, I think she says, well, if you need to eat more, go have 4 more ounces of vegetables. I also believe I heard her say, and I might be misquoting here, that if you're working out really heavily, that you might need more protein as well. So you have to make those considerations.
Yeah, if you get an opportunity, check her out online. She's got a great program.
Definitely.
She's very inspiring.
And so that's basically where we started with this idea, and it's been life-changing for us. And we've started our second 100 days, and it's going along good.
We got us through the holidays. We had a couple days where we had something that wasn't quite on program. For some reason, people seem to be serving pizza a lot this time of year. But we haven't been derailed. I mean, it didn't make us want more and more.
Yeah. The best of our knowledge, we were perfectly compliant within the first 100 days of the program. We have since then had a couple days where we chose ahead of time that, okay, we know the family's getting together and having pizza. We're going to go over there and have pizza with them. But we also, on top of that, still, I would say those days, 90% of the time, we're still eating our compliant foods that were within the plan. So it's 1 or 2 slices of pizza and then our salad or whatever else. And this is the first time
You can hear the car.
the cars are crazy.
Yeah.
During the Christmas holidays, this is the first time I actually lost weight instead of just gained weight.
Yeah, me too.
What else do we need to bring up?
Well, it was definitely easier than we thought.
Yeah, especially after the first week or two. Definitely easier. But that food prep was key, and that 20 ounces of vegetables a day, I think, is because you're full. Yeah, that's a lot to eat. You measure out, by scale. All that stuff, food's measured by scale. So 20 ounces of vegetables is a ton. Not literally. Anything else we should bring up?
Not that I can think of. Our numbers are getting better at the doctor. We've got our blood work done.
Oh yeah, I think those were the best numbers you've had, right? And years and years.
Yeah, got to cut my blood pressure medication in half. I'm excited about that. Hopefully it'll be gone in another 100 days.
Yeah, it's definitely making a difference. And the other thing for us is you don't have to. If you already have an exercise routine, they say to stick with it. We actually chose maybe the first 70 days or so before we started adding a lot of exercise back in. We'd walk the dog 3 times a day and things like that. But to really hit the gym and really work out, it was probably 70, 75 days in before we started that back up again. And just because we knew we were going to be so hungry, we didn't want to be out of control hungry. And I think that's...
Yeah, and that way we only focused on one thing.
Yeah, it's a lot to learn and not adding extra stress to our lives.
Yes. But here's to another 100.
Yeah, here we go, another 100. So I'm just gonna say, if you're trying to lose weight, or more importantly, I would say to do this to get healthy, the losing weight's just a side benefit. I would say give this a try. Even if you only did 30 days of no sugar, no flour, and staying away from ultra-processed foods, it makes a big difference. That first
It's
30
life-changing.
days, yes, just that alone is incredible. So I think that's all I got.
Okay.
All right, sign her out.
Okay.